Welcome into the Big Chief Show post-game edition. It's your boy Freddie D alongside the one, the only bit of Mike Babbo. Of course, Mike's in halfway decent spirits because his Raiders don't lose till tomorrow. So,
right. I was able to enjoy the weekend today, Freddie D.
You get to enjoy the weekend, watch what's been a pretty good weekend of NFL football so far. We're going to get to the Chiefs here, obviously. Big win today, 27-20 over the Minnesota Vikings in a game that, look, the Chiefs are just finding ways to win. They're not doing anything special. They're not doing anything. You had a beat-up Travis Kelce today. He hurt his ankle. I don't know if that was right before halftime. Taped his ankle up. And, of course, Travis Kelce did Travis Kelce-type things in the second half. Rashee Rice had a nice touchdown catch, and probably the best play of the day. And, of course, I know this is where all the folks are going to start coming in. He gets all the calls, yada, yada, yada. The big pass interference call on 4th and 1 against Marquez Valdez-Scantling. But, Mike Babbo, you know as well as anybody, when you don't turn your head as a defensive back and plow into the receiver, 9 times out of 10, unless you're not, the Saints and the Rams from, 4 years ago, that's going to be a PI.
Freddie D, you took the words out of my mouth. Anytime I'm watching the Raiders or if I'm watching any of my college teams, my favorite teams like Arizona State, Notre Dame, or anybody playing USC.
They got themselves a dub, too.
Arizona State? Yeah, Colorado squeaked out, although – they made it closer than it should have been. They did block a field goal attempt for a run back, but not Colorado State, Colorado. They just didn't really look as good as they have the first 3 weeks. Arizona State plays people tough at home. They certainly played USC tough. Now USC made a lot of mistakes, but anyway, my point is that anytime my team is on defense and there's a pass thrown and I see a defender 1-on-1, I'm screaming 2 words: turn around. If you are not turned around, they will throw the yellow every single damn time. And so you have to turn around. And look, I get it. It's tough. You're on an island there. You're trying to watch the guy while watching his eyes. You're watching the quarterback. You don't know what to pay attention to until it's too late. But you got to turn around. You got to play the ball. If you're playing the ball, don't let your manhandle it. But if you're not, then you're going to get the laundry. But if I can get back. What was that?
I was going to say real quick. Was that not the most Kirk Cousins ending ever?
Oh, no question. And then again, the penultimate series just absolutely baffles me. Look, I'm not rooting against the Vikings, although V-Rock is my wife, as we all know. But the thing is that again, just like 2 weeks ago, they mishandled the time management again by getting instead of a somewhat manageable 4th and 7. They don't get the snap off in time. They don't have any timeouts, so they can't call a timeout. And 4th and 7 becomes 4th and 12, and it's like, oh well. And their defense needs to stop Kansas City again, which they eventually did. But again, Kirk Cousins, God bless him. I mean, great guy. I'd have him date my daughter if I had one. But it just seems like when the chips are down, he just doesn't come through. And look, it didn't help that Justin Jefferson left the game early in the 4th quarter with a hamstring injury.
The Chiefs defense did come to play when it came. I mean, they shut him down.
And let me tell you something. And I think this is what you started the show off by saying, the Chiefs just managed to win ball games. And I think this is something that Chiefs fans are going to have to get used to. A, their defense is a lot better than anybody thought. Probably one of the top five in the league, right?
I'd say top 10.
Okay, top 10. But B, also the receivers are still, aside from Travis Kelce, are a work in progress. To say, to be kind of, right, to put it mildly. And so, but they're winning games, and also they celebrated a Super Bowl trophy by losing at home to Detroit. So I still think that leaves a bad taste in Chiefs fans' mouth. But they're winning games differently. They're not the juggernaut 50-point offense that they're used to, certainly not the last couple of years. But they're winning with defense. And you know what defense does? Wins championships, Freddie D. And if I were Chiefs fans, I would be totally okay with it until Brett Veach somehow swings a trade for some wide receiver, some disgruntled wide receiver out there, the defense is going to have to carry the day, and that's okay. That's okay.
It is. Look, because again, as you alluded to, as long as you got 15 back there, all what is it? High tide raises all boats.
Yeah.
Just going through the stats again. Travis Kelce, 11 targets, 10 catches, 67 yards, and a tutty.
Yeah.
There at the end. But from a wide receiver standpoint, I mean, Rashee Rice, 4 catches, 33 yards, hit a touchdown. Justin Ross, who everybody was clamoring to get some time today.
Yeah, only like 4 targets.
He had 4 targets, but he had 2 catches for 28 yards. But of those 4 targets, he dropped 2 of the balls. 2 very catchable balls.
Can't happen.
Can't happen, right? Kadarius Toney, 5 catches, 26 yards on 6 targets. And of course, Justin Watson squeezes in there, had a huge 3rd down conversion on a 3rd and 18, went for 33 yards. He has 2 catches for 56 yards. I want to say he's the leading receiver for this football team right now, which, this is a guy that pretty much got, was like the 5th wide receiver for the Buccaneers a couple of years ago with TB12. So, to your point, look, they're doing it with duct tape and baling wire. Our friend Henry Thomas texted me during the game and commented about how, for an offensive line that does a pretty good job of keeping 15 upright, they're pathetic at run blocking. Today as a team, 21 carries, 67 yards, 3.2 yards a clip. Your leading rusher was Isaiah Pacheco with 16 carries for 55 yards. But I don't know how many times, he ran into just, had nowhere to go and just ran into a barrage of Minnesota Viking defenders. So, to your point, look, it's week 5, you're 4-1. The one game you lost to a Detroit Lions team, which, I think
also 4-1, and they are right. They're 4-1 as well.
Offense in the NFL, or
they might. They got the best offensive line in the NFL. I mean, them and Philly is 1A and 1B, right? I mean, they are a juggernaut. I mean, and now they got I think Williams back, and
they got Jameson Williams back today, although he did nothing.
He didn't do much.
Trust me, because I added him on my fantasy team, and that was a whole bunch of nothing. On the flip side of that, you had David Montgomery went for 19, 109. So, yeah, I mean, look, there's no shame in losing to the Detroit Lions. And, of course, as we both know, that's a game that, again, if Kadarius Toney doesn't drop the ball 2 or 3 times, you probably win that game. So, look, to your point, yes, you've done what you've needed to do. You got this, and I don't even want to call it a new look offense. I mean, it's a new look offense because you've had to adjust on the fly to – even last year, this offense was more dynamic than what we've seen this year. I don't know if you're going to have Travis Kelce on Thursday against you got a short week now, right?
Right.
Thursday, you turn back around and you've got, Denver coming to town. Now, you might make the case that Denver is the worst team not named the Carolina Panthers because they're atrocious right now.
They are terrible. And I thought that they had some hope. And they barely beat a very bad Bears team, a very dysfunctional Bears team. It's just that I don't know anything. I don't know what Russell Wilson is doing out there. Again, to lose to the Jets, to lose to Zach Wilson and the Jets at home, when you've got arguably what used to be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, it's just boggles my mind to me. And so even though it's a short week, the Chiefs should manhandle the Broncos. It should not be. And then of course, then they got a full week off before I think they face who do they face after that?
Dolphins?
I think it was
No,
I will. It is the Dolphins. No, it's the Chargers. It's the Chargers. Then they go to Denver and face the Chiefs. Or excuse me, the Broncos.
Yeah, and then it's the Dolphins after that.
Right. And then it's the Dolphins. I think that's in Mexico.
Look, you got 3. No, it's in Germany.
Germany, okay. It says international.
Yeah, no, that game's in Germany because it's sold out. I think it's sold out in like 15 minutes or something. I mean, come on, what do you're talking about? What do Germans have to look forward to for crying out loud? By the way, just random. And of course, big game tonight, Cowboys 49ers. Buddy of mine asked me yesterday, are the Cowboys a contender? I said, well, we'll find out tomorrow. Just real quick, TV watching guide. If you nerds out there that have Netflix, and we know a couple of you nerds do, go check out the Beckham documentary series. I'm telling you right now, and I get it, whatever, but I just came to my mind. That guy, I don't think we realized what that guy had to go through when he got the red card in the World Cup back in 98 or whatever it was. Good God!
Anyway, probably death threats.
Dude, it was insane. They were spitting on him on the street. They were spitting on him on the street, for crying out loud. We think we take our American football seriously? Good.
No.
What?
I remember, I think it was some guy from Argentina. He accidentally scored an own goal, and next thing you know, he got killed.
No, that was Colombia, wasn't it?
Colombia, maybe. I mean,
one of those, some country.
One of those banana republics that don't take losing too lightly. So anyway, I mean, so look, the Chiefs won. They're 4-1. They're 3-0 on the road. So they've got a winnable schedule the next 3 weeks for sure. Before they face the Dolphins, and so that'll be a tough matchup. Tyreek Hill is going to be looking forward to that. He's circled that on his calendar ever since the start of the year. And Tua looked great in the first half. Not so great in the second half, but very, very good in the first half. And Raheem Mostert had another touchdown with 65 yards of rushing. But these guys are running on all cylinders. Now they did lay an egg in Buffalo, but. This is the NFL. Buffalo laid an egg in London. I mean, they were a 5.5-point favorite, and man, the Jacksonville defense just absolutely flummoxed Josh Allen. I mean, he got nothing going. Stephon Diggs had a pretty good game, but Gabe Davis is pretty much quiet.
349 though.
He still threw for 349, but all of that was in the second half. In the first half, they really held him down.
As I was 359.
359.
Of course, problem was they couldn't do squat on the ground. 14 carries for 29 yards. That's not going to get it done.
No.
The Chiefs defense did what they needed to do. Like I said, they did a great job of shutting down one Mr. Justin Jefferson. I think 3 catches, 29 yards, something like that. Like I said, he did go out in the fourth quarter, but they did a great job. I mean, look, if you'd have told me at the beginning of the game, look, they're gonna because Justin Jefferson's all. I mean, look, you got to worry about him no matter what the situation is. But for them to hold him the way they did, and of course, like I said, Minnesota had chances there towards the end. Mahomes ends up 31 of 41 for 281 yards, 2 tutties, only got sacked 2 times. So again, a very workmanlike performance. And like you said, Mike, This is what Chiefs teams are going to have to get used to. We're still about 3 weeks away from the trade deadline. And again, I think you and I are both on the same page. I don't care what, and I know that, Andy Reid said earlier this week he's okay with the Chiefs receiving core, that this group's going to continue to get better as the season goes on. And look, what's he going to say?
What else is he going to say, right? He's not going to throw his players under the bus.
Andy Reid is the players coach of all players coaches, right? I mean, you can count on one hand any players have ever said anything negative about Andy Reid after playing for him. So of course he's not. And plus it wouldn't do, I don't know that would, that's such a young, vulnerable group right now. All right, is that you can't say anything bad about them because look, they're getting enough shit right now from guys like me. Okay, they're getting enough shit from people on. I mean, look, Chiefs Twitter. I mean, it has been
losing their minds.
I mean, look, I've gotten into arguments with people on Twitter about the Chiefs wide receiving core, and it's not about not having faith in this group. I mean, I guess you could argue, yes, it is, but again, this group is a group of 2s and 3s. And even 2s is a stretch right now. Okay. I mean, you could look at this Chiefs offense right now and you look at this Chiefs receiving core and you can honestly say to yourself, I don't know that there's a number 2 wide receiver in this group. I mean, you damn near want to say it's a bunch of 3s and 4s. Look, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is a over-the-top guy, and that's it. Okay?
That's it.
Rashee Rice is still trying to figure it out. Sky Moore, I'm at the point now where I'm not going to even mention his name again until he merits some sort of reason to mention his name.
Right.
Because Sky Moore has been an absolute failure through 5 weeks of the season. Okay, maybe failure is the wrong word. Let me rephrase. He's been a disappointment through 5 weeks so far, because at the very least, you thought this was the guy for as many snaps as he's getting, and for a guy coming off a rookie year, finished the season quasi strong last year, this was going to be the guy that at the very least, maybe he's not a number one, but could be a guy that could help you move the chains in that Wes Welker, Julian Edelman mold. And boy, real quick, let's just look. And again, I looked at his numbers earlier. Depressing as they were, 2 catches, 11 yards on 2 targets. So think of it this way, Mike. Mahomes doesn't even trust Sky Moore at this stage, because he sure as hell ain't looking for him with two targets.
No, because he had a full season last year. 5 games into this year, you should be a trusted target. You should be a second look if you are that fast. And he's had a long enough time to get acclimated and get the rookie rust off. And if he's only getting 2 targets a game, now look, I get it. I mean, Travis Kelce, he's big, he's strong, he catches everything. He's a trusted go-to guy, but 2 targets. I think he's averaging like 2 or 3 a game. Those are just when Kelce's either hurt or when he's not open, double covered. So it's about time for somebody to step up, and it's going to be I don't know if anyone can step up, because they've had enough chances. Kadarius Toney's he should be a number 2, don't you think? Justin Ross.
Kadarius Toney?
Yeah, he should be a number 2. Justin Ross should be, with his speed, should be, an absolute deep threat. But no one's panned out right now. So, and what's really strange is that, again, the running game is not really doing it right now. And so until they find a number 1 or somebody to somebody be a trade, that running game is really going to suffer, because everyone's just going to say, you know what, we dare you to run the ball, because we don't see it.
Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. And, for the season, he's got 17 targets, 9 catches,
3 a game,
123 yards. 9 catches through 5 games for Sky Moore.
So 3 targets a game, 1.5 catches a game, something like that. I don't know. I didn't do math very well.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Not even. That's what I'm saying. Not even. He's not even average. He's on a. Think about it this way. For an offense that is devoid of wide receiving talent, and you were one of the more, had one of the more higher expectations coming into the season. Full season of the offense under your belt. And look, I get it. You don't have, you didn't have Eric Bieniemy this year, but it's not like, again, you went from Bieniemy to Matt Nagy. And again, the head of the snake is still there, being Andy Reid.
Sure.
So there was no new terminology to use, right? And by the way, we if you've got social media, and we all do, how many times do we see during the offseason, Sky Moore participating in all this stuff with Mahomes, getting used to his wide receivers, and you're telling me this guy can't even average 2 catches a game through 5 weeks of the season?
It's unacceptable, especially for a second-round pick. I'm sorry. That's too much draft capital for a guy who's averaging only 3 targets. You have to get open, especially if Travis Kelce is the one guy that defenses key on. There's got to be one-on-one on at least 60% of the routes you're running.
Oh,
so it's easy, right? So now DJ Moore is not going to be, we were talking about DJ Moore, maybe possibly getting let go or traded. Trade, that's not going to happen. He just went off on Thursday night against Washington. Kyle Pitts, that's a name that's bandied about. Not really sure. Robbie Anderson was there, but I don't think you want that headache. Now he's in Miami. Like they need any more offensive weapons.
You talking about Chase Claypool?
No. Oh, excuse me, Chase Claypool. Excuse me, Robbie Anderson. Where did he go? He in a.
I don't even think he's in the league right now.
No, he is. He changed his name. I can't remember what it was. Robbie, whatever.
Robbie
But
Anderson
no, yeah,
changed his
Chase.
name?
Yeah, yeah, he changed his name. I'll find it. But yeah, I was thinking about Chase Claypool actually. And this look, Chase Claypool had all sorts of talent coming out of that wide receiver class. I remember me, and Henry Thomas were talking about the rookie wide receivers in 2020, I believe, and he was first half. He was better than anybody in the first half for Pittsburgh. But then I don't know.
By
Somebody
the
got in
way,
his head.
you were right. Robbie Anderson changed his name to Robbie Chosen.
Robbie Chosen, yeah.
Robbie Chosen. So
Yeah.
put that. I mean, do with that information as you will, ladies and gentlemen. Not really sure what to make of that, but Robbie Chosen.
Maybe he's going to be on the Jesus channel or something like that.
Hey, the rate we're going, we need Jesus. I'll tell you what, it's getting hairy, folks. It's getting hairy out there in the world. That's for damn sure. Final thoughts, and we'll take a look, and we'll delve into this a little bit more because, of course, Wednesday we'll be back, and then, of course, Thursday you got the Chiefs and Broncos at Arrowhead Stadium. But, final thoughts from this game kind of goes back to what we were talking about, Mike. This is a team with this Kansas City Chiefs group where, again, you're adjusting your expectations on the fly. You're mucking things up a little bit. You're beating the teams you're supposed to be beating. And at the end of the day, you're 2 drop passes away from being 5-0 with an offense that is being, which has really been middle of the pack the entire year. And that's where you're at.
I mean, I'm sorry. I really don't have much sympathy for Chiefs fans. You're 4-1 and you're wondering what's wrong. In a word, nothing. Nothing.
Well,
I mean, you are what your record says you are, right? I mean, so yes. Do you have some holes? Yes. Are there some warts? Yes. But like you said, you're beating the teams you're supposed to beat. You got a cupcake schedule for the next couple of weeks in the Broncos. I still think the Chargers are going to Charger. They're coming into town after that, and I mean they'll find a way to fuck it up, and the Chiefs will come alive. And going back to Denver, they could easily be 6-1. I expect them to be 6-1. Heck, hosting the Broncos, the Dolphins, I expect them to be 7-1. So not going to worry too much, but they do need to get the run game going. They really do.
No, they absolutely do.
CEH only had 3 carries.
Well,
this was a first-round pick 3 years ago.
Yeah, but look, we're still.
They're done
with America. He's even on the team at this point. Real quick, just running down the games from today. Falcons with the last-second field goal over the Houston Texans, 21-19. Got to say, C.J. Stroud, he's another guy. Looked good today.
Looked good today.
I think he had 270 yards passing, something like that. But the problem with the Texans was they had 4 trips into the red zone, only got field goals. They had a touchdown there at the end, but not enough. And of course, the defense wasn't enough. And of course, Desmond Ridder had his best game ever as a pro.
Right.
329 yards passing. We mentioned the Lions. They took care of business today. They beat up on the Panthers 42-24.
David Montgomery went off again. I mean, for another century mark, 2 touchdowns.
Seriously.
Can we give a little love to Daniel Jones, the Giants quarterback? I mean, the poor guy. Well, he left the game with a neck injury, but the poor guy got crushed again today. I think he was sacked. I'll have to look at it.
He left the game with a neck injury, didn't he?
That's what I said. He left the game with a neck injury after getting sacked. Let me see. For the 6, I think there were 6 sacks.
No, he's been.
It was just it was just terrible. I mean, the Giants they talk about a team that's lost. It's just horrible to watch. Of course, Saquon Barkley was out again. Darren Waller was a non-factor again. Look,
as usual,
facing the Dolphins in that pinball machine of an offense, you're never really. I mean, you just hope to be competitive. But yeah, here it is. I mean, he got sacked 7 times. I mean, that's just terrible. I mean, on the heels of getting sacked 12 times against Seattle. I think was it Thursday night, the week before. It's just absolutely terrible.
He's been getting his ass beat. Speaking
Yeah.
of getting their ass beat, just real quick, I'll tell you what. Shout out to our boy Chris Jones, who right now has 4.5 sacks on the season. He's had a sack in every game so far this year.
That's about 4.5 more than Chandler Jones of the Raiders, or former Raiders, by the way.
Who is not sacking anybody at this point.
No, he's not even on a team.
No.
Sacking, anyway.
Sacking bail bondsman. That's who he's sacking.
And then, of course, we have to talk about Mac Jones and the worst home loss in the Bill Belichick era, 34-0 at the hands of the Derek Carr-led Saints. Alvin Kamara comes back, rushes for 80 yards. I think he had a touchdown.
Okay, real quick, what would you do? What would you do right now if you're the Patriots?
I mean, you still have to go with him. I mean, are you going to? I mean,
no. I'm talking bigger picture. I'm talking about because look, if Bill Belichick was anybody else,
he'd be gone by now.
What's that?
He'd be gone by now.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if Bill Belichick was any other coach, and look, I get it. He's earned those pelts on the wall, but post Tom Brady, he has not been good. This has not been a good football team, especially these last couple of years. You got to wonder with the way this team – look, if this team loses double-digit – and again, has double-digit losses, for as good as they look the first 2 weeks of the season, looked against the Philadelphia Eagles, it looked like, okay, these guys are this team might be back. Then they beat the Jets, which isn't saying a whole lot. But they've since gotten – I mean, they've lost what? What was it, 34-30 – they've given up what, 72 – they've lost 72-3 in the last 2 weeks.
Right. And this is all by defense. I mean, the Saints are not a juggernaut of an offense by any stretch of the imagination.
The Saints are terrible on offense.
Yes. I mean, they live by their defense. Derek Carr is, he's a poor man's Kirk Cousins.
I mean, look, I would argue at this stage of the game, they're the same guy.
They are the same guy. I was just being harsh. I mean, I'm not a Carr hater. I'm not. That's just mean.
They're the same guy at this point.
Wedding ring wearers.
Have you ever noticed with Kirk Cousins when he's getting when the pressure's coming, he just looks away and throws it. Like that dude more wants to get hit than the man. That dude's like, I hope somebody's around. Poor Kirk Cousins. By the way, okay, let's pivot real quick. Astros, big win yesterday.
Yep.
Okay. Verlander.
Stop pitching to Jordan. I mean, if the Twins have if they have any fucking clue, stop pitching to Jordan. October, he is a madman. I mean, come on, guys, especially at home.
You blame the pitcher for that second home run. I mean, he went and golfed that thing. That second home run. The first pitch was just, the first home run.
It was a meatball.
Come on, that was down Broad Street. What's this guy
doing?
Second one though, I mean, he had to go out and get that one.
Yeah, but
that was just a good hitter. That was just being the best hitter in the world.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, don't let him extend his arms either. I mean, he's a hell of a bad ball hitter, and he's fucking country strong. I mean, look at the size of the man. I mean, he's like 6'5". He's insanely big, and he's insanely strong. And again, it's October, and it was great. They put that game away early. Justin Verlander threw lights out, and then of course Hector Neris comes in and just absolutely throws up all over himself. And it took Bobby Abreu to bring everybody back to earth and settle things down. Good God! I mean, they almost they did let the Twins back in. It was 5-4 at one point in time. So, good for Bobby Abreu to come in, shut the door, and then of course. Ryan Presley
would just shut it down. How impressed are you with what the Rangers are doing?
Oh, incredible! to do what they did on the road and to travel as much as they have, and to beat a 99 win Tampa Bay Rays team in front of thousands and thousands of fans disguised as empty seats. But their pitching has been, hundreds of screaming fans. But what do you expect? I mean, it's a fixed dome. You're in snowbird land, and it's a couple of day games.
That's the problem.
They are on the wrong side of Tampa. They're in St. Well, St. Pete's got a nice nightlife, and I think they have a lot more younger crowd than Tampa does. But either way, it's a fixed dome. It's October, and you can't open the roof, even if you don't. If you wanted to, it's because it's fixed, and so it's in the middle of the day. So, and look, Tampa Bay doesn't draw anyway. But no, good for the Rangers. I mean, and good for Bochy. I mean, this is what he does, man. And good for him for
2-0 lead on Baltimore.
Huh?
They've taken a 2-0 lead on Baltimore.
Yeah, no, I mean they've got a stranglehold on that thing, and they're headed back to Arlington with a 2-0 lead. I mean, and Baltimore's got some solid pitching, and of course an incredible young rookie team, but they are a couple of years, 1 or 2 years ahead of their plan, I think. Whereas the Rangers are built to win. I mean, let's face it. Marcus Semien, John Gray, Adolis Garcia,
they spent money to win.
They spent money to win
now. No,
absolutely.
And you hit the nail on the head. Bruce Bochy is as good as it gets. Philadelphia took a 1-0 lead, and then of course your boy Kershaw gets run off in the first inning.
Wow.
He gives up 6 runs. And look, if the Dodgers spit the bit against Arizona, how on earth can you justify keeping Dave Roberts?
Well, I mean, look, he's a victim of this to some extent. No Julio Urias, because he's got a domestic case against him, a second one in about the last 5 years, and so he's done. His pitching staff, his starting staff is a mash unit, right? No Dustin May, no Tony Gonsolin, no Walker Buehler. So he's been doing it with mirrors, really. I mean, they've been hitting themselves.
You're not surprised by this.
No, I mean their pitching staff has been absolutely decimated by injuries. It's just amazing that they've been able to do it. It's Clayton Kershaw, Bobby Miller, and pray for 3 days of rain. And Kershaw's troubles in October are well documented. I mean, he's had I think he's got like a 4.87 ERA in the playoffs. And look, I am no Dodger fan. I'm a Giants fan. I'm a Giants season ticket holder. But I love Clayton Kershaw. He's a good human being. He's good for baseball. He's a sure ballot. He's a good dude. He's a sure ballot Hall of Famer. Rooting against him and putting all these stupid memes that these asshole Giants fans do, doesn't make our team any better. Okay, so knock it the hell off. He's 10 times a human being you are. So stop it. Okay, you want to go ahead and laugh at the fact that the Dodgers may get an early exit again, but don't just sit there and just trample on the man's grave. That ain't cool. But
do you see them coming back?
Yes, I do, because Arizona's lineup is still offensively challenged, and I really think that you've got 2 MVP candidates in Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts.
That's true. Yeah,
I mean,
that's a lot of firepower.
Right, that's a lot of firepower. James Outman, their center fielder, is an excellent center fielder. I mean, listen, he catches that leadoff drive into center field. I think it was by Ketel Marte. Instead of a man on second, nobody out, we just got one out and nobody on. You never know what happens in the course of the game. Now, I mean, obviously Kershaw didn't have it, but you never know. And they've got a solid lineup. I mean, they're damn scary. So I'm looking for them to bounce back. We'll see.
Do we owe Trevor Bauer an apology?
Oh yeah.
Don't we though?
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, what people do behind their doors, it's none of our business. Okay? If it's two consenting adults. And let's face it, that woman was a fucking whack job. It's been proven. She was an absolute nutcase.
And for those of you scoring at home, I remember I had Matt Timpanic on 2 years ago when all that went down. And he said himself, he said then, he goes, look, I'm not trying to victim blame, but he said, look, there's something about this case that just doesn't smell right. And he goes, there's a lot to this case. There's a lot of moving parts. The fact that they didn't give didn't grant the restraining order, and there was just things about it. And he said, look, don't be surprised. He said the DA at the time in LA was under all kinds of scrutiny and was trying to get himself out of get himself out of the public eye for all the wrong reasons. And that was a case that he kind of latched onto. Now we're finding out 2 years later. Look, say what you want about Trevor Bauer. Is he a quirky weirdo? Yes. Does that make him a rapist? No, it doesn't.
No.
And it's funny.
I mean, the LA County DA. I'm sorry. The LA County DA chewed on this for 9 months through, like you said, a lot of scrutiny, a lot of pressure. Yeah. And he declined to prosecute the case. Why? Yeah. Because they do not think that they can get a conviction beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the criteria. That's the bar that they set. And that didn't meet the bar. And so here we are, the hue and cry and all that stuff, and everybody going nuts on social media. Turns out 2 years later, the lady was off the charts nuts up.
Oh, no question about it. R.I.P. Dick Butkus. If you want to hear the best Dick Butkus memoriam, go check out O.J. Simpson, who did a First of all, I didn't even realize OJ was that old to where his first 2 years in the league, he played against Dick Butkus. Like their careers overlapped by 2 years. OJ Simpson called Dick Butkus to this day the best football player he's ever seen, hands down. He said, Dick, that's that. Hey, say what you want about OJ Simpson. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Look, I may not want him. I may not introduce him to my girlfriend. But when it comes to talking foosball, okay?
You wouldn't want to date his ex-girlfriend either, right? Oh, man. Well, take it from a guy who was used to getting the shit kicked out of him when he played for Buffalo, right?
Tell you what, yeah, we forget about how good OJ was.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, we forget how
bad Buffalo was.
Look, we forget how good of a commentator OJ. Tell you what, if you don't follow him on Twitter, put your whatever aside of whatever you think he did 30 years ago. That guy is amazing when it comes to talking football.
Oh my God, we're getting in the yellow zone.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, okay? Look, the American justice system said he was innocent. So you know what? That's what I'm going with.
The civil system, however, did not.
Well, but it's a lower threshold.
That is.
It's a lower threshold.
Oh, my God.
By the way, somebody pointed out to me a couple of weeks ago when he said he was speaking out against why you shouldn't get married. And he said, think about it. He said, think about it. OJ allegedly murdered 2 people, right? And they couldn't take his pension. But if you get married and then divorced, guess what? You're losing that. He said,
the moral of the story is don't get married.
He said, I'm not doing anything that's more severe than murder. Ladies and gentlemen,
my God!
From this post, what kind of post? What are the Chiefs post game is covering this hard hitting topics? Okay,
we are officially off the rails.
Let's keep that in mind, folks.
Your legal advice right here. Call it.
That's right. Free legal advice.
Give us a call. 1-800
at the Freddie D. Okay, look, do so at your own peril. All right.
Hey, by the way, Freddie D.
By the way.
Let the record reflect. Using a legal term, that the Steelers entering their bye are now 3-2 and leading the NFC North.
And the reason why that's pertinent is because Mike Babbo in our preseason picks, one of our preseason sleeper picks is still alive. Meanwhile, my preseason sleeper pick, the Chicago Bears, just notched their first win. Now, in fairness, you did. Now, look, you have them going to the playoffs, and that was a big win today. I'm not going to take anything away from you. That was a big win today.
They were a 4.5 point dog at home, right? So, they get 3 points just for being the home team. And I'm going to tell you what, they manhandled Lamar Jackson and that Baltimore offense. I mean, they held their running game in check. They had a safety, which probably should have been a touchdown, but it was close, but they still ruled it a safety. They had a fumble recovery. They had an interception. They sacked Lamar three times. I mean, they held him to one touchdown. And Lamar was playing like an all-pro the last couple of weeks before. So, again.
Well, I'll tell you what, you say that, but I'll tell you what, he's kind of hit a road bump a little bit here because I'll tell you what, he didn't look great against Indianapolis. He didn't look good again, and he did not look good again today. He
looked good against a good Browns defense, though, the week before in Cleveland. I mean, he did.
I missed that game last week.
Right. He was a solid 15-19, 2 touchies, 186 yards. He was sacked 3 times, but no picks.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is this.
I get it. He's still, up and down.
Well, to your point, for as promising as he started the season, and look, 15-19 for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns is nothing to sneeze at, especially when you get the W, right?
Right.
I still do think, though, to your point, it is kind of, right now, this is a very interesting group. It's a very interesting time right now for this Baltimore Raven team. Because, again, the knock on, when it's almost like really, and I get it, Lamar's strength is running the ball, but sometimes you want him to run the ball because, again, that throws that whole offense into disarray.
Yeah. It keeps people guessing for sure.
You don't get any kind of flow. And, Odell Beckham has not been the savior they thought he was going to be, which, surprise, a guy coming who hadn't played in a year and a half. Why would he be? This was a guy this was a guy who was literally on his last leg, pun intended, before he blew out his knee with the Rams,
Yeah.
So I don't understand the whole Odell Beckham thing. I will say this, though, when we talk about aging receivers who, you're wondering what they're doing, D-Hop did have himself a ball game today, though.
He sure did. Finally.
For 140 yards. Exactly. So he's finally starting to, but the Titans did lose. So that's another, for you Chiefs fans out there, that's another situation to watch play out over these next 2 to 3 weeks. Now, if you're a Chiefs fan, the shitty part is they're in the AFC South. So if you're a Titans, the Titans, look, 9-8 could win that division, right?
Sure.
So if you're the Titans, you're thinking to yourself, all right, although you did lose to the Colts today. So again, these next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be huge for the Titans and for the Chiefs in the sense of if you think you can go out and get if they think that DeAndre Hopkins might be available, because again, but at the same time too, though, if you were to get rid of D-Hop, you're basically waving the white flag. Because
and whatever first round pick or second round pick you're going to get for him. Let's say they throw CEH in the mix, but I mean, why would the Titans want another running back? But let's suppose if you do get a first or second round pick from the Chiefs, you're not getting a first. But if you get a second round pick, it's going to be a low round pick, right? So you're going to have to get a second, third.
I don't even think you're going to get a second round pick. Maybe you will, because now that he's finally starting to show he's healthy. Because my thing is, if you're going to get a second round pick, hell, Arizona would have traded him for a second round pick. Right? Because remember, they tried to trade him forever before they cut him. I guess, but to what you're saying, it makes sense, though, because now that you got film on him, now it's like, okay, he's healthy again. He's back to being the D-Hop that, maybe you do, especially for a team that's desperate, right? Like I read something today, Albert Breer reported that apparently the Carolina Panthers might be in the market for a number 1 receiver because, Bryce Young's getting murdered back there. Well, you had one, but you traded him. So
we traded him away, yeah.
DJ Moore looks lights out. Real quick. It wouldn't be appropriate if I had Mike Babbo on and we didn't do a few picks before we sign off today.
Sure.
Number one, tonight's game, Dallas, and we'll just do this straight up. Dallas and San Fran. Who you got? Bitter Mike.
Oh wow. Christian McCaffrey is playing all worldly. George Kittle has been kind of quiet so far this season. Brock Purdy has been very efficient with the football. The defense, now they get Randall Gregory on the other end for depth, as if they didn't need any more depth on the defensive line. But their offensive receiving core is a little banged up. Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel are nursing injuries. But on the flip side, Micah Parsons doesn't look right. Obviously, Trayvon Diggs is no longer in the picture.
Right.
He suffered the knee injury in practice the week before last week's game, and you could tell that made a difference. I think it made a difference because Arizona ran all over them, and all over the Cowboys. And Micah Parsons just doesn't look right. He's not as explosive as he was the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. He's not as quick into the gaps. So I'm thinking, and the Niners are at home, but the Cowboys play so well on the road. But I still think Niners are a 3.5-point favorite. I think they cover as long as Brock Purdy continues to take care of the football. I just don't see the Dallas offense matching with the Niners defense.
By the way, who do you like San Francisco? Real quick, Minnesota, Houston. Who do you like?
Oh,
who do you like?
You know what? I just think that that home field advantage at Minute Maid Park is just too strong to ignore. Although Minnesota's up early, 1-0.
Already got a one run lead.
Yeah, 1-run lead. But I just think that eventually Houston's hitting will prevail. I mean, they're just too good in that bandbox of the stadium.
ALCS. Give me your ALCS and NLCS.
So ALCS, I mean, it's looking really good for Texas to face the Astros, boy, the state of Texas will go absolutely bonkers. NLCS, I just love the Phillies. I just love their top down. I mean, there are no holes in that lineup, for crying out loud. And look what Ranger Suarez did last night. I mean, he gave them 4 1/3 solid innings against the Atlanta Braves. They shut down the Braves. I mean, that's hard to do. That team has 2 MVP candidates as well, and Matt Olson and of course Ronald Acuna Jr. But I mean, they only got 5 hits off of Ranger Suarez et al. And Aaron Nola. I still think the Dodgers are going to prevail. I just think that their lineup is too powerful, and their offense is much, much better than Arizona.
Fantastic. Last but certainly not least, and of course, might as well end it on a sour note. Who wins tomorrow?
I mean, I know Jimmy Garoppolo is coming back from a concussion, but I don't see it's surprising to me too. Speaking of teams that fans that have to get used to their team, like the KC fans have to get used to their top 10 defense. Yeah.
Are you going to agree? Just so the folks at home know. Just so the folks at home know. What? Where am I at?
Where at?
Right here.
Yeah.
No, that's not. And we're not talking about the golf league, folks. We're not talking about the golf league. That's LV.
No,
that's LV scoring at home.
No, I don't see anything in the Raiders defense that makes anybody quiver. Excuse me, Raiders offense that makes anybody quiver. The defense is playing a lot better, but they're on the field too long because their offense is just shit, just absolute dog shit. And I hate the way Josh McDaniels calls plays. I hate the way he calls a game plan. I mean, just absolute garbage.
That's bitter Mike, boys and girls. If you couldn't tell why he's so bitter, now you know why.
Can't stand it.
He was literally in a good mood for 47 minutes, and then as soon as I mentioned the Raider game, the last minute, he's just look at his face, look at the brow, look at the wrinkles from where he's angry. That's it right there. Look, it's
what do you expect? They're 1-4 and circling the drain. I mean, look, I said, I mean, the over under was 6.5, and I said, what did I say preseason? Freddie D, hammer the under, right? And their one victory is against the hapless, circling the drain Denver Broncos.
Yeah. Equally hapless.
Enough said. They beat themselves.
Doesn't even have a jersey on.
No,
Ladies and gentlemen, that's good. Look, I needed. We needed a little pizzazz.
And look, I still love my teams.
And who better to bring it?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He's angry. He's bitter Mike. That's why he's bitter Mike.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need a little excitement in the post-game show, and that's exactly why we bring on bitter Mike Babbo. Chiefs 4-1, 27-20 win over the Minnesota Vikings today. Look, it wasn't pretty as we said, but you know what? A win's a win. For the one, the only bitter Mike Babbo, I'm still that dude, Freddie D from H-Town, Kansas City, Las Vegas, Houston, and all points in between. Have yourselves a good night. Go Chiefs.
See ya!
Boom.